Roofing employees?
Well, yeah, look at Danny living large back there.
We're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we're
I
just
thought we'd been live, to
this.
be honest.
This is lively.
Lively. Blake Lively.
We're just gonna
Who's Blake Lively?
be live
A
until.
hot actress.
I
You don't know her?
It's an actress?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, he's hot.
well, yeah.
But, yeah,
Duh. Blake. Obviously
The
a
other-
hot name.
Danny, the other one's up there. That's that one. Up there.
What?
The missing the missing
The
foam.
panels. So the foam that fell on Chris Williams at the mention of Greg Rudolph's name has been reinstated on the wall.
Yeah, but there was one on the ground and now it's up there. We're live we're live now, but we're gonna actually start the podcast in a little over 3 minutes.
This is just us rambling, and I don't think we were live when I complimented it, so I just want to get it on the record.
On the record,
Please look at Jim Mooney's little workstation here.
little
That is
workstation.
impressive.
He's got it. He's got a mic in front of him.
He's using he's using a MacBook to write with a pen and paper on top of it.
It's his like it's like the most expensive underneath pad ever.
Yeah.
That is the most trash I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I'm not actually writing. Everything is just seeping up through by
Yeah.
osmosis onto the paper. I
That's-
just hold the pen there.
Well, he has mastered the MacBook already. He's had it for like 2 weeks and figured out things that I never knew, and I've had it for years. So there is that.
And cool stuff, too.
Cool stuff.
Okay,
Text
so
replacements.
explain that to me.
I'll have him explain
what
it because
what did you find? What did you find out? Because I need to be a part of this.
Yeah.
It just simple things like text replacement. So, like if I want to send somebody out the fighter form,
Yeah.
I just type in 247 FF fighter form, hit the space bar, it automatically populates with the website, the direct link to the fighter form.
I think you have to show me that.
Pretty sexy.
Yeah, I got a ton of
So-
stuff on there.
I don't
So
even.
like instead of typing Britt Bickert Tapology, because we type that 8 million times a day trying to find somebody for her,
BBT.
we
it's just
just
BBT.
we
Yeah.
just expect there to be like new people that are experienced all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Network connection lost. Oh, it's
That's
connected
just
again.
for the TV.
Yeah, I know, but
Why is the TV doing that?
it's been crazy.
These smart TVs aren't so smart.
Yeah.
We are
And I even
starting the
figured out how to
podcast
do-
in like a minute and a half.
Oh, it's still not actually like 8
No,
yet?
it's not 8.
Oh, we're not live?
I figured it was
We
8.
are live, like we're on, but like it actually
me.
starts at 8. We told people 8 o'clock, so we're not going to start getting into the meat of it until we're actually 8
Fair.
o'clock.
Very fair.
So I can
Go ahead.
keep doing my.
You can
my
keep sketching
notes.
over there, yeah.
It-
like
it is
Leo
sketchy what
DiCaprio
I'm
over
doing,
there.
yeah.
You sketching Danny Palm like one of your French girls.
Like laying down, like
Hello, people.
hello, persons.
How's that G Fuel, Ryan? I've never seen that flavor.
It actually is pretty good. What drew me in, Hunter showed up today at the office with a bunch of energy drinks. He doesn't want us falling asleep during the podcast, apparently. And this flavor is Sour Chug Rug G Fuel.
Chug rug.
So the sour is what drew me in, and I wanted to make sure I grabbed it before Danny grabbed one. So, because I know he'd be all over that too.
Wait, do you like
I
sour
had
beers?
already grabbed one.
Yeah. Danny had
see?
first pick of the draft.
Oh, you got a ghost, but that's not our ghost flavor. Like,
Yeah.
Sour watermelon.
where did you go? You went to
Get Go.
Get Go.
Swedish
Yeah, I knew
fish.
you went to Get Go.
Saw Zachary Snyder there. Shout out Zach Snyder. What's up?
Zack Snyder. What up?
Yeah.
Excellent guest.
Hang on.
What?
He was finishing teaching at Stout Bridgeville and then going down to the strip to train. And he grabbed 2 giant twisted teas to go, that alcoholic, like hard, just crappy iced tea. And I was like, dude, you got twisted tea right before you go train? He's like, no, I have these after training. We call them trailer teas. I was like, yep, pretty accurate. Pretty on brand for Zack Snyder.
That's like Jewel is called Trailer Swift.
Oh, I like
Taylor
that.
Swift.
That's actually perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so it is 8:00, folks. We are live here at the 247 podcast studio. I'm joined by Hunter Homie Steak and Jim Sahara. Jim's got a lot of nicknames. Do you know Sahara?
Sahara, no, you got to
You don't know that one?
lay that one on.
That was back in the MMA Fancast days. He was nicknamed Jim Sahara Mooney.
Why? Where's Sahara?
I don't know.
That's so
like,
specific.
Yeah,
It
I
is,
don't know.
actually,
I don't know how
because-
that happened.
because
you remember?
of my poker face with humor.
Oh, because you're so dry as the desert with
Apparently,
your
yeah.
humor. Okay,
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have to read.
Who assigned that nickname?
That would have been Dan
Yeah.
Altieri,
Okay.
That was what was-
who lives
what
in
was his
Florida
nickname?
now.
Does he listen to us?
Probably not.
That
I mean,
guy's-
when I'm on the phone with him, he
worst.
doesn't even listen to me then.
yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, so here's the deal, folks. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I encourage you to flip over to 247 Live. Hunter's going to make an announcement here right now about 247 Live because he's been working on that. And take it away, brah.
Nice. I like that we're jumping right into this. Wasn't sure when we were going to get into this, but this is very exciting. So, for fans of 247 Live who have had the app, and thank you for downloading the app, we have definitely noticed the numbers growing and growing and growing with every event we do, so that's cool. It is available on iOS right now for your iPhone, for your iPad, Apple TV, and also Roku. But we're adding 2 more platforms very shortly. The apps are currently in development. It's all signed, sealed, delivered. They're just building them for us. Android users, if you have an Android phone, Jimothy, you can get 247 Live on your Android very soon, and also Amazon Fire TV. So we're adding to the TV space, Apple TV, Roku with Fire TV, and we're adding to the mobile device space with Android. So now Android, iOS, Roku, Apple TV, which one did I miss? Fire TV. You pretty much, whatever you got, you'll be able to get it.
And now Jesse can stop crying.
Yeah, seriously, Jesse. You can wipe the tears and download it on your phone.
But I got a phone. What are they? I don't even remember what they're called. What are
Jess-
Galaxy?
Jesse, I'm on your side because
Pixel?
What,
did-
what, Android. I got an Android. Yeah, I couldn't think of Android.
so we just decided to include the other 70% of the world that is plugged into Samsung, Android.
So I will definitely say that during our events, we run a promo, and this is kind of it's not that special, but you only hear about this or know about this if you're actually at our events. Drew announces, our great ring announcer, Drew Shannon, shout out Drew Shannon. He announces during the events that if you show your 247 Live app at the merch booth, you get $5 off your order. So like if you have it on your phone and show the merch lady, hey, I got it, she gives you $5 off your order. My wife, who has worked the merch booth a few times now, comes up to me after every show and is like, I have so many Android people come up that like, I want my $5, but it's not in the Play Store. I'm trying to download it and it's not in the Play Store. So all of you who do that, soon. Very soon.
How soon?
Like by the October events, I'm hopeful for that.
Oh, really?
It seems doable by then.
I thought that it would be done like shortly after this one.
So they put it. Their deadline is around the October events, but last time they were done way before that. So
Okay.
I don't expect it to get pushed that far.
How are we doing with the Google, with all the Play Store stuff? Like, are we good?
Dunzo.
Oh,
It's all Dunzo.
you're so swell.
That is not the most fun experience ever, I will
Ah,
say.
I mean, when you were messaging me and saying like, I need this and now I need this, that's not your cup of tea.
no, that kind of task.
Adulting is like
Yeah,
the
they'll make me do that.
opposite of what Hunter ever wants
Wait,
to be doing.
he asked you to do some adult stuff.
Oh,
It's crazy.
crazy.
Wow.
And I
Poor
knew it was
management,
adult stuff because he had to come for me for all of it.
Poor management,
Yeah.
really.
Like, is that
Let's make Hunter
isn't
do
that an
adult stuff.
oxymoron?
He
I
was
think so.
doing some adult. I wanted to introduce him to the world of being an adult.
I just did such a good job with the iOS app
Like
that
Cleveland
he was like, do it
football
again.
is an oxymoron.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's not football.
Yeah.
What are we
Foosball.
talking about here?
All right, so
Cincinnati football, though.
That's
we
a
can
nice,
talk about that
huge announcement. But what we want to spend the bulk of the next little bit here is talking about. We got something going on here, folks.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have some weigh-ins in about a little over a week.
Yeah, if I may, for 1 second. So that was one of the announcements, was the new apps. So we're about to talk about what Ryan's leading into. But if you're watching, I also want to tease. We're going to have a fight announcement for BitB 18 at some point during this. And we're also going to have a few announcements for Sprawl in the Berg 2 at some point during this. So if that's what you want to listen to, stick around because we will get to that. But we have something else first. And that is Jim Mooney. You've been losing a little sleep over this card, working hard, putting them hard hours in. But look at the card now, bro. This is one of our best pro cards ever. Just the pro portion, definitely one of the best in 247 history. Yeah, I like it.
A side note, we were talking amongst we use Slack and we chat throughout the day on Slack, and one of the messages was taking a look back at Brawl in the Berg 8 and that card.
It's so
It is a really good card when you look back at it, and I think that was the first card back from like having crowds again, like a real full crowd, and so I think looking at that is pretty cool. Like just in 2 years since then, like that card already is impressive.
Yeah, seriously. And that was the first one I was involved with too, actually, funny enough. So obvious.
I mean, it's clear. It's clear
what
as day.
caused it. But it's like we talk about all the time, Pinnacle 1 and how insane that card. And to be fair, BitB 8 isn't at that level yet, but we'll see how it ages.
It's
it might.
aging well.
Yeah,
it's on the aging well path.
I mean, the first fight of the night, and I don't remember if it was actually the first fight or just in Tapology, but it was Ferdoz versus maybe Clint Ewing. I can't remember the
I
opponent,
think it was Clint Ewing.
But when Ferdoz is the opening bout,
that's
you got
crazy.
You got a strong card going on there. And then one of the best fights, if not the best fight in 247 history, Lowry versus Marco Hutch at the top. So
yeah.
And then in between, it's like
complete
freaking
solid
stacked.
all the way through. All a really good card. So this is the first time that you two have experienced the joy of putting together a show in a new area.
Market, yeah.
So neither one. Jim was a part of our production team back when we launched. He wasn't a matchmaker at the time, and it was brutal. It was really brutal. Like very difficult getting things going and getting things launched. And there were days that I was questioning my own sanity, questioning my own just why am I doing this? Like
If it
that
makes
kind
you
of thing.
feel any better, I don't mean to interrupt, but if it
No,
makes
you
you
did.
feel
You
any better,
totally meant to.
we question it also. So,
Yeah, well.
like still to this day.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
No burrito for you. So we were, but I had experienced that. I had experienced the stress of that, and I knew going in. I think I told you guys like launching this is going to be very difficult. It's hard, and this was a difficult task, and just to be fully transparent, like we're still at in a bad spot with ticket sales. Like we're used to being ridiculous amount of sales. Like it's like this is the first show. We're not used to this. We're not used to having to like wonder if there's going to be anyone there.
Yeah.
And like right now,
We're
full
wondering a little.
transparency, like the fighters that are on the card, like we were hoping they would be pushing tickets hard, and that hasn't happened. Like those are the things that's part of the tremendous joy of having a first show in a town. But the reality is, like, you know, if you build it, they will come. Sometimes that means over time, and that may be the case here, but we certainly have the show to put on to
yeah.
draw people in. We just got to make sure we get it out to them. Like, people don't know. People haven't gone to Cincinnati, hasn't had MMA in 9 years. They haven't had a
Crazy.
show since UFC was there 9 years ago. So maybe we haven't reached everyone. Maybe they're hesitant to wait till fight week to buy their tickets. I don't know, but I hope they do, because this Jim Mooney has put together one heck of a card.
It's legitimately a great card. I love this card.
Yeah, I didn't even look at the amateurs on the card. Because it's like Cincinnati, we found out is a pro heavy area. A lot of experienced fighters out there, and so again, I didn't look at the amateurs yet, but to give you an idea of what we have in store, 4 pro bouts with those fighters. They have a combined 50 knockouts or subs, 50 finishes in their career that they're bringing to the table. That's crazy.
That is sick.
That's madness.
50 pro combined knockouts in their career. Like, of the pro fights, those fighters have 50 combined knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Get ready, folks.
Doesn't even make sense. So Steven.
Well, that includes their amateur careers.
Yeah.
So Sean's, did we announce his bout?
Yeah.
Did I just announce it?
No.
No, the only one we haven't announced yet is the one from
Amateur light heavyweights.
Okay.
the one from around here.
Yeah, so Sean Rawl is the most experienced when it, altogether, but like for amateur careers, he had 11 amateur fights, I think. So everybody else has been much less than that.
Mm-hmm. So
not a lot of like depth in the amateur career. So take that into account. Like most of these guys, 5-3, I think is Will Worley. I think Sean's
4-3.
4-3.
With a bare knuckle win as well, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where you're
that's where he
getting
gets
5,
it. Yeah. But it's to me, it's incredible that we've got finishers on the card on each side. It's not like one guy specializes in it. It's both. So we got 4 crazy bouts where the guys are coming out.
Cincinnati MMA is back. Join us at the Sharonville Convention Center next week. Join us at the Sharonville Convention Center. What's the date?
September 9th, bro.
September 9th. You know me. I'm brain dead. Join us September 9th. It's going to be electric. It's a great card. Jim Sahara Mooney, Jim Buck.
There you go. That's better.
That's it.
Buck.
Jim Buck Mooney put this card together with you guys in mind, saying these people have been deprived of knockouts, have been deprived of pro bouts, have been deprived of regional MMA. You don't need to be deprived anymore. We're saving you from MMA deprivation.
So to be fair, though, like this,
Who cares about fairness?
all of our events, 100% are a team effort. There's no way that like we could do this with just a couple people, but this one in particular, we go out to Cincinnati, the 3 of us. Danny and Dylan are back here holding the fort down, while we go out, scout the area, meet with coaches and teams, and check out venues. And it's the same thing with the matching. So it takes. It's not just one person that's doing this. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to actually put the card together.
Listen to how modest this guy is.
Humble.
I'm humble here, folks.
But yes, all the good stuff is me. Anything
All the
bad
good
is not
matches
me.
are his.
Let's. The cameras are off, Jim. Be yourself now.
Okay, so
Mute us.
I need a raise, please.
So there's a lot to unpack from what you two have said for sure. There's a lot of ways I want to take this. First, though, I want to address Stephen McCain commenting on Facebook. Thanks for watching, dude. He asked how many people on the 513 card have fought for 247 before, and I think the answer is 3.
3 is
Yeah.
what pops into my head.
Cam Smith, 2-time vet. Timbo Slice, 2-time vet. Cliff Richards, 1-time vet.
Well, then
Who?
4.
Raiden Keller is Raiden.
Well, then
Kovacs.
5.
Who's the other one?
The one we haven't announced yet.
Oh yeah. True. There's one that we haven't announced, but yeah, Raiden. I forgot about his because that was before my time with the
So
company.
the
but
one
he
that
did
we
fight
had-
Cody
yeah.
Gamble.
That was pre-Hunter PHH.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was PHH.
The one that we are going to announce, we've
Goodness.
tried getting him on the card before. He's been in the matching pool. Will Worley was in line. We had pursued him at one point for
We have a
title
matching
fight.
pool.
Oh yeah,
I've never
Yeah.
swam in there. That must be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. We're keeping you out of it. So they are to me they're 247 veterans
Yeah.
because we have communicated with them and we followed their careers and they're going to put on a show, the kind of show that 247 wants to see. 247 fans are expecting to see.
No doubt. And when you were talking about all the finishes, Jim, that I wrote that article today about just the 4 pro fights. And as I was going through it and looking
Awesome
at the
article, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I
Yes,
appreciate
good
that.
job. You. It's like you've done that before.
Once or twice with a T at the end. That's twice with a T, by the way.
Twice.
I like
Twice
that.
did
Twice.
T.
Twice.
Twice to T. Just so we're clear.
Nice.
But when I was going through it, I was just I was hyped on these pro matches anyway. But of course, when you write an article like that, you go through their topologies and watch some YouTube, and I'm like, these are banger matchups, dude. Like even Mateo versus Quentin when we announced that one today, and I was excited about it anyway. But then when I really started digging into it, I'm like, dude, Quentin is a bad dude. And then Mateo coming all the way up from 85 to heavyweight, like that's a ballsy move. And I know Mateo's a very confident guy in Demolition, Gary Young, great team, great people out there. They have high hopes. That is a big jump, dude. Like, you don't just go up to heavyweight and dominate somebody. And if he does, he instantly becomes one of the hottest 85 or 205ers on the planet.
I think he's fought at heavyweight in his amateur career.
Maybe.
He. Well, why
no,
don't?
he
why
has
don't?
not. He has not. No. So, I mean, I know Mateo well enough. I know his career well enough, but I can tell you the highest he's ever fought
Was
at
205?
Was 205. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
so Jim, before we get too far into that, because I want to talk about something, but like, why don't we announce the match we haven't announced yet?
Just going to say it.
Yeah.
I think the poster will be ready by tomorrow, so that's fine.
So this will be out tomorrow, but like for those of you that are watching, you get to learn it now.
get a sneak peek. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jimothy.
I don't even
Jim,
know. I'm too busy matching. I don't even know what we announced yet.
The
The
there's
only one we
left.
haven't announced is
Oh,
That paper. The paper came in
Okay,
handy.
so yeah.
so this is where think about why I
Yeah.
wanted to announce that so we could talk about something.
Also, Ryan's left-handed. That's crazy.
247.
didn't know that?
Another
No, I didn't.
247 vet. So we got to see him back
12
in action.
seconds.
Finally, yeah. He was back in the cage, in the 247 cage, albeit for the grappling card. But that was his I'm back. I don't know if he would have said, "Don't call it a comeback." I would, because he's
I've been here
gone
for years.
Yeah. So we have David Krause taking on newcomer Christian Swanson in a catch weight of 215 pounds. It's been quite a while since we've seen Krause in the 247 cage. We got a sneak peek, on that the Super Fights card.
Yeah.
So, like he's called out a lot of 205ers. It's time for him to show what he can do and get back in the mix.
And the catch weight fight is who like. Is it just he's a little heavy, or who's heavy, or what's going on with that?
It has to do with Christian Swanson coming in to the card. We didn't with it being his debut. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much tonight.
That's because you're dumb.
Yeah, with
It's the bang.
being his, it could be debut. He came in really just less than a week ago. We've been talking
Yeah.
to him and trying to work things out. And finally, once we got something for him, it didn't make sense to put him through a cut. Kraus is definitely coming down, putting him through a big cut. So we settled on, both sides agreed, a 215 catch weight. I think if we push it, we could have gone to 205, but we want to see them both, at the top of their games, and 215 made sense.
So, ladies and gentlemen, David Kraus and Christian Swanson, catch weight 215 pounds, 5-1-3 fight night. Looking forward to that. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, why did I all of a sudden want that? Because there's two fighters on this card who have previously had beef, and that's Mateo and Kraus. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that beef.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
So they're not fighting each other, but Mateo and Kraus. Mateo's now a pro, and they were supposed to fight at one point
Nice.
for a different organization, and that was just on paper. It wasn't a signed bout, and something. It was alluded to that it was our fault, which it wasn't, but we get blamed for everything. So what it is, what it is. But those two were like talking smack, and it was like they wanted to kill each other.
That's awesome. I freaking love it. I did not know that context, but that makes it even more fun. I'll piggyback on that, but I want to address Steven again real quick on Facebook. He said, Kraus just commented as well. Stephen McCain said, I was the first to buy tickets, I believe, for front row. If the show doesn't sell any better, any chance it'll be canceled? No, sir. We're having the show. Listen, since he wants a show, the show's happening. Obviously, we hope it gets super packed and crazy in there. And to be fair, our shows do pick up momentum on Fight Week big time. And I do think fighters and coaches are going to start pushing it, especially upon hearing this and everything. But
help us.
the show's happening, Steven. Invite your
Spread
friends.
the
bro.
word.
Invite your friends.
Help
Let's
us
get that
spread
place.
the word.
It-
Share our posts. Make sure people see it. Like we try to put ads out so that people see them, but they don't always see them, or maybe they're holding off on buying because they don't know. We're not canceling. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's a great card. Like the card is so good that we're going to have it regardless because we're not just saying this. Like these 4 pro fights are awesome. We're going to be able to make awesome highlights out of this and sell this thing into the future. And we said it from the beginning. Cincinnati was not a one-stop shop for us. We never planned on going in, having one show and coming back. We want to actually build something there that lasts like what we have in Pittsburgh. That's so hard to talk when you can hear yourself.
Sorry, I hit a wrong button on my phone, and then it just started.
Playing.
The worst thing possible happened is Hunter was
Heard Hunter, but it wasn't
all
what I
over.
was saying. Yeah, anyway.
Hunter and
That's
stereo.
awesome. Hunter and nobody needs that. Like one Hunter's so much more than enough. But yeah, man, like we want to build something in Cincinnati like what we've been able to thankfully build here in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of like Ryan and Jim were saying, we got like, I don't know if it's cocky, arrogant, what the word is, because it's really not that, because we worked extremely hard, but we got used to being able to snap our fingers in Pittsburgh and like, oh, people know who we are now here, and we got matchups, and we know the channels that we can reach people through quickly and the people we can tag quickly, and we have a great base of sponsors in Pittsburgh that helps us spread the word. In Cincinnati,
my first time around any electronics or something.
I was trying to just play it off like nothing was happening. In Cincinnati, we lose all that foundation, and now we have to build it from scratch again. And on top of that, Ryan said something really important that I want to reinforce. Hasn't been an MMA show in Cincinnati since UFC Fight Night, Matt Brown versus Eric Silva in 2014. So that whole community has gone dormant. All the fighters in Cincinnati are going elsewhere for fights. They're not used to selling tickets at home and understanding like, wow, I really need to sell tickets to make this work, because they're the B side, because they always have to go somewhere else. Now they're the A side and it's on their shoulder, and they're not used to carrying that load because there hasn't been MMA in Cincinnati in so long. So I totally get that. Our goal is to build something in Cincinnati like what we have in Pittsburgh, flat out. So if this is the ground floor, to answer your question, Steven, that's fine. We're going to learn a lot from this one. We're going to make a lot of adjustments, guaranteed, for 513 Fight Night 2, and we're going to make it better. But I do feel that just the card, if you're an MMA fan, this card is worth your time and money, man. Like, we've put together an event that you're going to love as a fan, for sure.
That's our honor, Steven. You said thank you guys for coming to Cincy. Like, help us spread the word, because it's not as easy to hit up a new area that like when we put something out here in Pittsburgh, our fans see it. We have text marketing. We have ways to reach people that we don't have yet with Cincinnati, and so we have ads out. Like, our ad guy is constantly putting stuff out. We're gonna have a new series of ads next week. We're gonna actually use some of the footage from tonight promoting this event to put a video together. Dylan, by the way, if we haven't told you that, you're gonna be working on that. I hope you don't have a busy schedule, because
Doesn't he know Schools for Fools anyway? He should just work.
There it is.
Just work for
Yes.
us.
So we're expecting, even at worst case scenario, it feels like one of the COVID shows where there's no one there. Guess what? Like, we lost a show in Pittsburgh. We lost crowds after COVID. We were allowed crowds, and then we didn't cancel the show when we weren't allowed crowds, and we still had the show. Worst case scenario, we'll just say, oh, they canceled the crowds. That's why there was no one there. No, we're here.
Freaking Biden.
We want to make Cincinnati MMA a real thing again. It has not been.
Yeah.
Like, and I think there's enough fans in Cincinnati that love MMA that need to know about this and come to the show.
Yeah, and I'm Mr. Positivity, as you guys know, so I'm going to spin this immediately. What's been encouraging for me with this? The gyms, the fighters, the opportunity that we thought was there from the very beginning is definitely there. I've reinforced that. I know that there's something there. I've been encouraged throughout all this that we're on the right track with Cincinnati, and I definitely think Cincinnati is a smart part of our future. Like, once we can really nail this down, it's going to be amazing. And
Did you see it?
Ethan Goss.
Yeah.
Glad to see Ryan finally went to the groomer. It is Mutt Manor right next door, actually.
Yeah.
He probably just popped in there real quick.
pretty sure Ethan Goss is dealing with some hair envy right now. Ethan, it's
there's that too.
okay that you look like you're 60. We all know that you're only 55.
I don't know. He fights like he's
20,
145
24 now,
champ.
yeah. So David Krause's comment that I laughed about, he just said mashed potatoes Mateo. And I'm not even sure what he means by that exactly.
I think it's chunky, right? Is that?
Oh.
I mean, that's what I think.
I thought here was my guess, was that he had like soft hands or something, like pillow hands, like mashed potato hands.
I think. Who says that?
I don't exactly. I don't
would
know.
be pillow.
David, clarify your comment, Krause.
David Krause. I'm pretty sure he meant like
He's just
you're soft, like
okay, soft.
you're the body type is not like chiseled like
interesting. Well,
12-second Krause.
12-second Krause. That's a good fight too. Getting Krause back in there is fun. If Christian sounds like wrestled in high school.
He said fat.
Fat. Okay. With an asterisk. Like, let me clarify. I meant fat. I thought, to be fair, Krause, Mateo looked pretty dang good in his pro debut. If that's fat, I hate to think what Krause thinks about us.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thought.
Obese.
Obese.
So,
yeah. With an
a little
asterisk,
back-
obese.
Since he's listening, a little backstory. I had this is a true story. By
There's
the
a
way.
lot of little backstories with David Krause.
I had a conversation with Christian Swanson, and he said, "Do you have that fat 205 or what's his name, Clint Cratterback?" And I said, "Oh, you mean David Krause?" He said, "That's the one."
Wait, I don't know. Like, it's funny, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's awesome.
So there was somebody else that had referred to David Krause as Chet Chitter. So because where he lives, he's out in the sticks, and
I think there's this
So-
a romance going on between David Krause and Sahara.
he's gonna
And
he's
Buck
gonna
Mooney.
post something. I'm sure if he's still living. I don't know if he can listening. I don't know if he can. How long he's gonna get that signal out there?
So where does Krause live exactly? Like I know he lives in Somerset or that, but does he live like? Does he live like in the sticky parts of of Somerset, or does he
It's
live
Krause.
in like?
Come on, look at
he
him.
a
You know that
city
he
boy?
does.
How far are you
He's
from the
chopping
nearest
wood
Walmart?
every day just to keep his house up.
That could be.
So-
Listen, wood fires are good.
No,
nice.
it's his house.
Oh,
He said
it's
to
just
keep his
actually
house up.
He's replacing panels and stuff.
Yes,
I got
he's
you. I got
yeah.
you. I got you. Having Krause on the card is fun. Needless to say, the dude brings a certain energy and swag and fun to it that
Absolutely.
you gotta like it. You gotta like it.
David Krause on a on a card is always like fireworks. It's always like, and I think he's like legit. I think he says something fun on the mic.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
gonna put on a show. He has knocked people out in 12 seconds. He's
Crazy.
exciting. He's well structured. The ladies love a little bit of David Krause.
I think he's a married man with kids
I'm
now, so we
saying
need to
it
be
doesn't.
careful.
I mean,
here.
when you're a sex object, like, hey,
There's no
what
lines
happens?
you can't cross. I get it.
I don't know why you would
unlike-
say that where he could hear that.
Unlike Ethan Goss,
admit
Yeah.
I've had people come up to me after shows and be like, "Who takes Ethan Goss's walker after he comes down?" But
Come on, Ethan, you got to respond to that.
Awesome. He really went for that. I do want to add on Krause while we're talking about one more thing. This is just me fantasy matchmaking out loud. If Krause wins this fight, which is certainly no guarantee, but if Krause wins this fight, he moves to 2-1. That makes him advanced amateur, and that sets up Krause versus Goat James Padmore in Pittsburgh.
nice. I mean,
That's as good as a 205 amateur fight gets in Pittsburgh.
David Krause just corrected you. He said, "When."
When? Fair.
So
Jim
there
and
is,
McLaurin.
I like that. There is something in the works though for probably like the beginning of the year, new year with maybe a 205 belt. But you got to do what you need to do in the cage
In the
in
meantime.
order to get there.
Facts.
Did you say something about a belt?
Belt? Are we talking about belts?
Belt.
We're not.
Belt. Do you want to talk about belts?
Well,
Would there be a reason to talk about belts?
what do we talk about belts for?
We talking about practice?
We're talking about practice?
Not a game, not a game. We're talking about practice.
God, I love him.
He's awesome.
The best.
That's a great clip.
It's one of the best clips ever.
Gotta be, yeah.
Other than
I like the half one, the
playoffs
Yeah.
Playoffs and practice.
and
Vote.
Herm with "You play to win the game."
Love it. And who? Dennis Green.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah,
Love it.
and Bobby Knight.
What was his?
Like
His could have been anything.
Bobby
no,
Knight.
Bob,
Anything Bobby
no,
Knight.
Bobby Knight's best. If you've never seen this, Google Bobby Knight game face.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
classic.
I'll have to find
It
that
is.
one.
It
I
is
don't know
really
that.
good. He goes, "What does that even mean? Game face? What does that look like?" He starts. It's so
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've never seen
That's
that.
right.
That
Oh,
sounds
it's
awesome.
hilarious.
That sounds beautiful.
Ethan Goss, I'm reading it live. I haven't read it yet. It's going to be real funny when Ryan has to go home and tell his wife some half-bald 55-year-old dotted his eyes shut. I know he must have he has a brother, so it must be he must have like a twin we don't know about because there's nothing Ethan Goss. He can't touch me.
How, wait.
October 20th.
How much would we have to pay you to grapple Ethan Goss at Sprawl in the
No,
Brook
So
too?
I
Listen.
think there would be no risk if we did Ethan Goss
There's no grappling.
and
I
Ryan
won't-
Middleton October 20th.
Here-
I don't think that would risk October 21st.
Not at all.
I think Ethan Goss.
Nice
Ethan
warm-up.
Goss is jealous because my wife can actually see.
Wow.
That's
The
he wants.
shade.
Boom.
Big
because
shade.
I know it looks like she can see, but there's no possible way her eyesight has like.
Oh, Jess Elizabeth in the comments now. That's always fun to have
Yeah,
Jess
we
Jitsu
are
popping in.
talking Sprawl 2 in a little bit. Hang tight there, girlfriend.
Well, we did. To be fair, we'll just say that I have been summoned.
To be
she said.
fair.
To be fair, in full disclosure.
In full disclosure, to be fair,
we did already announce Jess Elizabeth's matchup, which is super fun. So we'll
not
throw
on
it out
this.
there.
We announced it
Yeah.
publicly,
Publicly. Jess.
social media-ically.
Yes.
You're jumping around though. We got to stick
all right.
to.
We just talked about
513.
Ethan Goss. Just talked about Ethan Goss for 5 minutes.
That's because he's stalking us.
Now Jess is stalking us. We
Oh.
address the
Yeah,
stalkers.
yeah. Well,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
you're right. We got to address.
We're throwing out Jess Elizabeth. This one's for you.
To be
and all
fair-
the Jess Elizabeth fans. To be fair, Letterkenny reference. I like it, Jess.
It's Letter Kenny. What
It's
is
a great show about Canadians. You should watch it for
There's
sure.
nothing great about. Oh, sorry.
Canada, yeah.
Oof. So Jess just got a big submission win at Sprawlenberg 1. Definitely was the social media MVP of that card. Like, she was so fun in the lead up, promoting literally everything. Sang the national anthem at Brandenburg 17 the next day. Jess was all over it. She wanted a big matchup for the next one, and we got her, Sasha the Shark Reynolds, this 16-year-old absolute phenom out of Adamas Jiu-Jitsu, Dante Leone's gym, which you guys, if you follow Jiu-Jitsu at all, you know Dante Leone and that whole team. And that is Jess's matchup. Now, making this one even more fun, Sasha has previously beaten both Carly Jo Thomas and Selena Jo Vith from Pittsburgh. So Jess kind of has to carry Pittsburgh women's grappling on her back in this matchup. This one's on you, Jess. You're representing not just yourself, not just Stout, all of Pittsburgh. And Sasha, 16 years old, can't buy cigarettes, can't drink, can't rent a car, can't vote. She's coming in to beat you. You gonna let that happen?
So no, wait. Come on, don't. So I heard a rumor. This has nothing to do with Jess. I'm sorry, Jess. I'm still.
Changing gears.
I'm. So I heard a rumor that Ethan Goss is not going to be able to be on the October cards like neither one because he had his he got like the movie part that he was. You know, like he used to be in the movies back in the day, and
No
now-
makeup for the movie, right?
Now
No
he's
makeup?
back because they just announced a new Jackass. And Ethan Goss here. Let me get this a nice tight shot for you.
Unbelievable.
Ethan Goss is back, but they added extra hair to him. They obviously have some kind of toupee.
That's the only touch up they did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hair around the sides, unlike in real life. So
Evan Ghost is taking some heat tonight.
Yeah, Ethan's catching strays out here for sure.
those are. I mean, this is the. Here's the funny thing. Ethan says, yes, Ryan the Turd Middleton versus Ethan Goss at Sprawlenberg 2. Bro, like, I'm like shooting these awesome like boom zingers, and you're calling me the turd, bro. This is. I mean, is this second grade or? I mean, you're 60 years from second grade. Like, come on, Ethan. My philosophy with
Okay.
read
Jess.
live. Go ahead.
My philosophy with grappling matches is I can't control the final outcome, but I can control my own performance. No matter what goes down, I promise you all it will be entertaining. And I totally believe that.
I think that Jess needs to sing the national anthem at her own event.
So she had discussed playing guitar on her during her walkout, like with a portable amp. playing her own walkout music.
I
And
don't think she could do it. I don't think she can do it.
Challenge?
I kind of want to see this. Not gonna lie, kind of want to see this happen. That would be pretty epic. Pretty epic. All right, we need to switch gears
Prepic.
back to 513
Real
Fight Night, I
guitar
think.
or air guitar?
Real guitar. Real guitar, playing it on the way to the cage. I'm here for that.
It remains to be seen.
I'm willing to make that happen somehow. She said
Yeah.
that sounds like a
Jess,
challenge, Jim.
That was 100% a challenge.
Absolutely.
Okay, 513.
513 Fight Night, September 9th, Sharonville Convention Center. We talked about the pro fights atop the card. I want Jim Mooney.
Sahara, it's up to you, buddy.
I want you to
Pressure's
pick
on.
your pick for fight of the night. Which fight do you think is headed towards fight of the night status on this card?
Yeah, you already.
Pro or amateur?
Yeah. Well, I got to go with the pro card, and you already touched on it.
I stole it a little.
Yeah, I think that one. It could be any four of those. Mm-hmm. We got two heavyweight. We've never had a pro heavyweight fight on our card.
Now we got two.
So we got two. Those, like, either one of those could have serious consequences for the one that loses,
for sure.
and I don't mean that in a good way.
Robbie Maloff in here said Jim's a hero. Jim's my hero.
I think Jim's a lot of people's hero,
Absolutely.
Robbie.
Look at this
Thank
guy.
you.
How could you not look at
I
that?
agree. Yeah, I mean it's. I was working out
Easy.
today. Yeah,
Easy.
I'm going with Zachariah, Kamara,
Yeah.
and Sean.
I think,
think-
yeah. Couldn't agree more. I mean, I said that in the article that I wrote. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off, but that was also going through. First off, Sean Rawl is like, if you're not familiar with Sean Rawl, you need to get familiar with Sean Rawl. He is so fun. He's long been one of the most fun fighters.
9
in this
finishes
tri-state
for Sean,
Insane.
7 for Zachariah.
Great pro boxer. MMA fights. He is very much a boxer competing in MMA. And that creates for really fun fights because his hands are normally light years better than his opponent. Like we talk in like Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury right now. Like it's probably going to be embarrassing. Chris Williams was just here saying how embarrassing that's going to be for Francis. Like a real legit pro boxer competing against MMA boxing, you can't even compare the two. So you've got Sean Rawl, a guy like that, coming into MMA with just wicked hands. And Zachariah's submissions are nuts. Like when I was watching his YouTube, dude, this guy has super slick grappling and a real lanky frame as well, which allows him to just hit things from weird angles. That has to be a super exciting matchup. I have no idea what's going to happen in that one, but I'm with you, Jim. I have a feeling that's the fight of the night contender. And
Shades of Sugar Sean.
yeah, for sure. With the build, the way he moves, the fluidity, I see all that for
Yes,
sure.
that's a good way to describe him. That fluid movement, just relax in everything that he does.
Yep.
So 7 finishes for him. 4 of those have been TKOs.
Nice. That's super exciting. And Vision MMA, shout out Vision MMA while we're on this. That's Zachariah's team. They have been really crucial for us as we assemble this card. There's a lot of Vision fighters on this card. So they're based out of, they have a Dayton location as well that's supplying fighters, and they have been awesome to work with. Joey Patterson, Jeremy Pender, and everybody there has been awesome. So thank you guys for helping us get off the ground in Cincinnati. And there's a lot, like I said, if you guys, when you watch the card, if you're there, or if you're watching on 247 Live, you'll hear the name Vision MMA for a lot of these fighters. So they help fill this card up for us.
We haven't even talked about the main event. I mean, we touched on it a little bit with Will.
Goodness.
This is without any drinks.
So out of control. I love it.
Except for Hunter, who he's always having
Can't
drinks.
exist without drinks. Hunter over here.
Our staff, Alki.
Every staff's got to have one.
Really?
Every staff's got to have one, baby.
That's all right. So that main event, that was an easy segue. So that main event, though, Ilyas, I want him because he can never get names right. Pronounce his last name. Go ahead.
No, I'm not trying.
I just
Don't embarrass
tried.
me.
Ilyas M, as Ryan would refer to him. Ilyas Mamadayev.
Nice.
Yep, and Will Worley.
Insane fight.
Mama.
Both
He's
of
just a
them,
mama.
Yeah, both of them coming off of losses, and I believe they had rolled into their last fight on winning streaks. I think I think Will was on a 4 or 5 fight win streak. I think 4 in a row. Ilyas had 3 in a row before his last bout, which was a loss. So both of these guys are looking to turn it around, and I think they want to make a statement that the last fight was a fluke. It's not indicative of who they are as a fighter, and they've got something to prove. So that one, we talked about what could be fight of the night. This one could be there also.
Yeah, they honestly, I mean, you guys have watched MMA enough. Any fight could be fight of the night.
Well-
We're just making educated guesses here based on matchups. It would not surprise me if that one was as well.
We're not as in touch with the fighters as we typically are because we're entering a new area. But and Jim has done the homework. He has seen more of these guys than we have. So, you know, honestly, taking a look at these if you've ever been to a 247 card, you know darn well that Jim Mooney puts together great cards.
Facts.
That's a team effort. Going back to what I said before.
Okay, the cameras
I'm not
are on.
including you
this
on
is
that, though.
this is camera Jim. Well, I wish you guys
Humble
got to see the real Jim. He's like, I own this place.
Jim.
This should be Jim Mooney Promotions.
He speaks the truth.
Buck 47.
I like it. Did you see? I updated my Instagram. I'm turning it into a brand, and I'm gonna have my own app coming out and a website. Yeah, I'm working on some things.
Second Buck 4 verse 7.
Nice.
That's right. I like. Yeah,
That's
there you go.
perfect.
That's right. Yeah.
That's perfect.
For those that you don't know, that 247, that name, a lot of people think it's like 24/7. It's not. Like that name came from a combination of Octagon 24/7, which we used to have a website in a podcast
Lots of fun with it.
back in the day before this, and that's what this graduated into. But it actually was a combination between that and faith background. And 2 Timothy 4 verse 7, I fought the good fight, I've finished the race, I've kept the faith. And so that's where that comes from for anyone that did not know that, which it seems like no one knows that, but
Yeah,
you
we
know.
don't publicize it that much. People like hearing it, though. I feel like we've had, like, the few times that I've been around when you guys have explained it to people and they do have a faith background, it really does touch them, for sure. They really do appreciate it and respect it. So it is pretty cool, man. I definitely like the meaning behind the name.
And Jesse Acton's watching now, and he missed when we were talking about him. So you'll
Sorry,
have to
Jesse.
go back
Have
and
to
watch.
rewind it, bro.
Yeah, you have to find the
have to
spot
rewind
where
it.
we're like Jesse Acton.
Well, who's Jesse Acton? Who is that?
He's the assistant GM.
Is it okay? He's the assistant
Yeah,
to the
to the
assistant.
GM.
He's
Yeah.
the dude that you were yelling at that one time.
Now I know who you're talking
wait,
about.
Jim versus Jesse
Which
Sprallenberg
one?
too.
Which one? Because there's been
Yeah.
many.
He does yell a lot.
Yeah.
We mentioned Jim's ego. Like, yes, he gets into a yell.
Jesse-
He'll just tear someone down.
Jesse suggested that he made a match for that card, that he assembled this fight, and Jim was like, "No, that was me. I did this."
And what are you saying?
Jesse's
That's
a
how I
staple.
remember it,
If
huh?
you've ever been to a show, you'll see him in his suits in the cage, taking care of the fighters. He's a part of our setup team, and he's a key cog in the organization. We recently had an event. It was called. What was it called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Swim in the Berg.
Oh, okay.
Swim in the berg.
Swim in the Berg 3, and that's our little get together. We didn't have a very good warning, right? Like
Warning.
we didn't let people know about it well in advance,
Snuck up on us a little
and
bit.
so Jesse wasn't able to make it. We missed Jesse there though.
Yeah, big time.
He's like the main troublemaker. So no one got in trouble with Swim in the Berg.
True. I want to give a really sincere shout out to not just Jesse, but the entire setup team, because I was just thinking about this today. well, not even just today, in the whole lead up to this Cincinnati card, because we talked about it earlier. We touched on how we don't have that foundation in Cincinnati that we have here. Definitely one thing I took for granted was how easily we can throw up an event in Pittsburgh. And that goes all, when you think of the staff, it's not just making the card and showing up and having fights. It's setting up the cage. It's running the merch booth. It's getting people seated, taking tickets. There's so much top to bottom that the infrastructure we have in Pittsburgh. And Jesse and the whole setup crew is such a key part. I mean, I've never once worried about the cage being set up and that aspect running. Never even thought twice.
There's a lot of things you never worried about.
I've had zero stress about that in my life. Like, I know they show up, the cage is up, and it's great, and it's done way ahead of time.
something that
Don't
like
worry about it.
that over the course of time that I really appreciate is like those guys make that cage setup like perfect.
Yeah.
And every time they make it better. Like if you look at a lot of regional promotions, you'll see like the cage mat like it's
not tight.
It's not tight,
Yeah.
and it like bunches up and like it folds and creases and stuff like that. Try to find that on ours. Those guys have like perfected that, and they're perfectionists, and they've worked at in every show. It's like tighter and tighter. It's like
It is
it's
awesome.
really nice.
Yeah, dude, they're so good. Like, genuinely, that is such a huge part of what we do, and they're just awesome. Jess Elizabeth is very upset that we didn't invite her to swim in the Berg. Sorry, Jess.
Well,
This was a staff kind of thing.
one, it wasn't in the river like you suggested. It was in a pool. And then, hold on, a 2 feature drowning as a legal submission. Hey, Nico.
Water grappling is the next event, actually.
Yes, we're going to lose our license and we'll have water grappling, and that'll be the end of 247.
Could you imagine? Have you guys seen that fighting that is like on a cargo container sitting in a river? And you fight on top of the cargo container, and the idea is literally to like knock the guy into the river. This is I don't know if it's got to be Russia. I don't know if it's Russia, but it's got to be.
Well,
And
there's
it's, like,
tag
real.
team MMA.
Dude,
Like,
there's like guys getting knocked out and just falling into the river, and I'm like, that
is someone
can't be
gonna
good.
help him? No, I don't have. Yeah, I don't watch that. I don't see that stuff.
I've never watched an event. I've just seen clips on social media of it, and I'm like, I can't believe this is real, but also I can.
I've seen like there's now like midget MMA. Yeah, there's crazy stuff.
Do you want to let them know what's going to happen for Cincinnati? Is that a segue?
Sure, Jim.
Go ahead,
What do we
tell
got?
him,
What do
tell
you got for us?
No, we'll just keep that a secret.
Oh, yeah. You
There-
got to be there. Get your tickets if you want to find out what we're talking about, because it will be something very special.
There you go. That's all we're going to say.
Fun. Russia has card jitsu as an actual sport, Jess says. That sounds insane. Fight your way out of a car while a guy tries to
Phone booth.
grapple you. I've
Phone
seen
booth MMA.
Yeah.
That is
Yes,
crazy.
insane.
Okay, let's get back on track.
We're just talking about our next business ventures.
Any
Ryan,
more
okay?
513?
Midget phone booth MMA.
Midget phone booth MMA. Let's do it.
Like,
Why not?
I mean, we have a 20-foot cage. That some people say that's a phone
Well,
booth.
you know what? With the two heavyweights, that's going to be the same thing. Two heavyweight bouts.
Yeah.
It's going to be like midget
True.
MMA.
True
Dude,
story.
Raiden and Cam are both 6'6", 260. Like,
Well, I mean, come on. Raiden fought Cody,
Gable. Yeah.
and those are huge boys.
Giants.
But that was at the amateur level, and this is at the pro level, and I think it'll be more polished than that fight was. I mean, it's a couple years ago.
You would think so. You would definitely think so. I do want to jump way back to the 247 vets on the card, because there is one matchup between 247 vets, and that's Cliff Richards versus Timbo Slice, Tim Von
Banger.
Biedenfeld. And yes, we're talking about early contenders for fight of the night. You put Timbo Slice in any fight, and that's a contender for fight of the night. That's how a Timbo Slice fight works.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah, we've had him twice in the cage, and both of them were just flat out bangers, just so fun, crowd going nuts. Like Timbo's amazing, and Cliff Richards in his debut looked phenomenal. That was back at Brawl in the Berg 9, so I know he's been putting in work, ready to roll, ready to get back after it. I love that matchup so much. Like everything about that matchup does it for me. Love it.
Clint was just on the MMA Fancast podcast with Luke Payson, and one of the things he talked about when he mentioned to Luke is Timbo's jaw, his chin.
Insane.
Insane. Yeah. So there's another one that that could be fight of the night.
I'm not sure everybody says I'm not sure he can be knocked out. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. Because he was eating bombs in that Colton Musgrove fight.
We have someone, MT, has commented on YouTube that Timbo Slice is going to go the distance.
The distance.
He's going
the
for
distance.
speed. We both
we went for
except
it.
I did it better.
Jess, who's saying better? Yeah, dude, I love that fight. I love this card. 4 pro fights, 5 amateur fights. It's a great split. It's going to have a really nice run time, I think, with 5 AMIs. And AMI rounds are a little longer in Ohio. Keep that in mind. 3-minute rounds.
I've been to some Ohio cards where they put like 20 fights together, and it's like a marathon.
Yeah.
And
that's long, dude.
we're more into like having some shorter shows with try to keep it like high quality. And you know, when you start off with 12 amateur bouts that, you know, no one has experience, it's a lot of it makes for the ability to like have a lot of people involved and maybe sell tickets, but it's not necessarily like the best quality show. And so we like to have a smaller show with better quality and, you know, not as long of a night. Our goal for each show is like, we like the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
We don't want to be 5-hour shows. We've had ones that were long, and it's just too long. People are tired and they want to go do other things.
Yep.
And things like that. So we try to keep, like, an ideal show is 3.5 hours.
Yep. Totally agreed. And Nico asked, how does Ohio structure AMI fights compared to PA? So in PA, there are 2 divisions, novice and advanced. And you probably know the differences between them, Nico. Think of Ohio.
Let's not assume, because maybe he does, but there could be others
Right.
out there that
I forget.
that don't.
I'm trying to speak right to you here, Nico. This is me to you, Nico. But there are other people listening. So novice rules for amateurs in Pennsylvania require that you wear shin guards. You have a 2-minute round. And once the fight hits the ground, you cannot ground and pound to the head. Those are the main distinctions. Now, for all amateur
Between
fights,
the 2 amateurs.
yeah. For all amateurs, you can't head kick, you can't knee to the head, and you can't elbow. So that goes for everybody, and that also goes for Ohio while we're talking about it. Ohio is all 3-minute rounds, no shin guards, ground and pound to the head is allowed. So it's like advanced rules in PA for everybody in Ohio.
No head kicks.
No head kicks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Another difference is PA has the novice and amateur, novice and advanced, which you mentioned. So what separates that is at least 3 fights, and with a winning record,
Right.
to go from novice to advanced.
Great point. That is a really good point. And then also, just while we're talking about things like this is like one aspect of going into Ohio that's been fun is learning new rules and structure and things like that. To go pro in Ohio is actually, we thought going pro in PA was hard. To go pro in Ohio is significantly more difficult. PA requires 5 fights with a winning record or
Well,
a very special.
just to clear, that's when they'll consider you. If you have at least 5 fights with a winning record, they will take a look and see if you are 3-2 and you haven't beat anyone that's beat people. Like, they look at those.
They might
things.
deny it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. In Ohio, though, they look for at a minimum 9 fights. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean MMA fights. It could also mean sanctioned boxing fights or kickboxing bouts, Muay Thai bouts, things like that. But it's got to be sanctioned on the record that they can look up and verify. And that's tough. Like, nine's a
That's a lot, yeah.
to go pro.
I think that would cause, I don't know that that's it's the case, but I think guys in Ohio should stay more active and compete in amateur boxing and amateur
Totally.
Muay Thai and
Yep.
just be very active.
Be
and
active, yep.
But that is that is a difference between Ohio and PA that I've noticed, that there's a lot more of those other combat sports events happening.
Does seem like it.
Yeah, in Ohio, so fighters can have that on the record. So I wouldn't say they would advance to pros or become eligible faster. It's probably the same amount of time.
Does submission grappling count?
Hazy. Pretty hazy on that because we had
Yeah,
somebody
no.
compete in an IBJJF event and those bouts weren't considered. So
Okay.
Oh yeah, we pushed hard.
yeah, we
for
tried.
him.
We tried to get them to be considered, but they weren't having it. So
Yeah, and he will be on our card one day.
The next-
so
yeah.
yeah, when I was petitioning for him and working with his coach, and I like sort of laid out what his resume would be. It's incredible
yeah,
what this guy brings to the table,
yeah,
and
for sure.
soon enough he's going to be in the 247 cage.
Yeah. Another key difference between Ohio and PA amateur is that in Ohio it's same day weigh-ins. They weigh in Saturday, the day of the fights, instead of the day before Friday, like they do in PA. So that affects the weight cuts. The weight you'll see guys who typically might compete at 135 in PA will fight at 145 in Ohio because they don't have as much time to rehydrate and everything. So there is that as well. Don't know if we can talk about that or not, but there's something with that as well with the same day weigh-ins maybe coming down.
Yeah, I mean,
Can we say that?
yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, let's go
Let's
for it.
just listen. You guys are watching the live podcast. You get live things.
It's going to
So-
happen.
Yeah, so when we were first looking at Cincinnati and Ohio in general, we talked to a coach in Ohio who I will keep anonymous, and we were
Anonymous.
essentially scouting like, hey, if we come here, are you guys in? Will you help us out? Do you have fighters?
No.
Would you be excited? So while he was excited for somebody to come to Cincinnati, he flat out told us, none of my fighters will compete in Ohio. Same day weigh-ins are BS, and my guys won't do it. We're not going to do it.
We're not
Period.
gonna do it.
Like it's a non-starter.
Wouldn't
And he
be prudent.
explained why. So like, go ahead and add that.
Yeah,
to the
which
mix.
I totally understand the same day weigh-ins things. I honestly I don't remember his reasoning off the top. Was it just the dangers of it? Because
Correct, yeah.
that's where I would go with it. If you don't have time to rehydrate, the idea is that they're not going to cut as much weight. The reality is they're going to cut the same amount of weight and then not be hydrated when they fight. Like that's just fighters being stubborn and trying to get any advantage they could. So I totally get that. But we talked to the Ohio commissioner right after that and said, hey man, look, we're in on this. We want to bring a show to Cincinnati. We know Ohio wants more shows. You have told us you want more shows. We want to bring that show. This is a huge hurdle for us. We've had coaches flat out tell us no to Ohio because of the same day weigh-ins. And in PA, we're used to day before weigh-ins. It works fine. We're totally fine with it. We understand that means we have to put more fighters up in hotels because it's an extra night. We're fine with assuming that cost for better quality fights and healthier, less risky fights. So, long story short, commissioners run that up the ladder. It's been a whole process with the state, but it sounds very likely that in the near future, Ohio will have day before weigh-ins for amateurs as well. I think we made some real progress there and actually made a change. So that's fun.
Yeah, we think that that change is going to take effect. Not like a specific date, but our guess is
By
that,
the second show, we're in Ohio.
yeah,
Yep.
like that month will begin. I'm not going to say it specifically, but it begins with a Jan and ends in Uary. So
Dude,
that
it's so bad.
yeah, I know.
Like,
I
now
wish it
got
could happen
dumber just
sooner.
listening to Jim say
no,
that.
no. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. You're on your own in that one.
Hey, folks, just so you know, back by popular
There we
demand,
go.
these 247 shirts, we weren't selling these anymore. And Hunter, your wife worked the merch table and people were like, we want those shirts. So these shirts are back. And for you, Cincinnati, we took the Pittsburgh off so you didn't have to, because,
We understand. You
it's-
don't want to
we
be
get it,
rocking
we get it.
Pittsburgh.
So
We get
these
it.
247 shirts are back. And the back just so you can all see,
The new
has the new logo.
the new 247 Combat Sports Podcast logo. Very nice. That is a nice shirt, dude. I'm also wearing one. I think Danny's wearing one. Jimothy rocked the Carhartt, which I respect. I think I would love a Carhartt sponsorship. Let's do that. Carhartt,
We're working on it.
David Krause, Jim. We've got an audience for it.
What's the whole Carhartt? Like, I don't know what. Like, he said he was making fun of your shirt. Like, what? Why Carhartt? Why is he making fun of that?
So like,
I'm dumb.
it's true. So let's just leave it at that.
No
and,
debate.
and talk about something else. Leave it. Okay.
Well,
but I think there's like
there's
something
so much
political.
more to make fun of. I just don't know why the shirt would have been it.
Well, I mean, we are talking about how Clint Cratterback made that comment. So
I'm bringing Clouder back. Yeah.
Nice.
but yeah, there's politics involved with Carhartt. So, and we like as an organization, we stay out of that. That's not our territory.
Okay,
we
so
want people in the cage fighting, and that's
People
that's
have
where we'll
been
leave it
waiting for a
happening.
long time. There's some fight announcements we want to get to.
There are fight announcements. Sprawl in the Berg 2.
And we're done at 9:30 on the dot.
Brawl in the Berg 18. Sprawl in the Berg 2. Let's start with Sprawl in the Berg 2. It's the first event.
Sprawl on the Berg
already,
2.
We've already talked about Jess Elizabeth versus Sasha, the
Okay,
Shark
so
Reynolds.
how many new fights do we? These are signed or just agreed to?
2 more signed ones to announce
Signed.
for Sprawl.
Great. Because I'm not a fan of announcing any fights that aren't signed.
Wouldn't do it.
Not gonna do it.
Wouldn't do it.
I like that.
Okay,
you know-
so who
Who's taking them? Yeah.
No, okay, but well, my first thing is so we're in a space where we're like matching multiple shows all at once.
So crazy,
the
dude.
first Sprawl, who
4.
booked this bout?
That we're about to
who
talk
took
about.
It, who
I think
put it
this
together?
was me. I kind of worked on Sprawl while Jim was in the weeds with 513 Fight Night.
Okay.
I was like, let me take a little off your plate with this.
Then let you or both of these two you
Yeah.
you match them. Okay, so share with these lovely people who is joining Jess Elizabeth and
Sasha Reynolds.
Sasha Reynolds on the second Sprawl in the Berg card.
So Jess Elizabeth will. I'm glad that you brought her back up because she has close ties to half of each of these fights. These fights are going to make Jess Elizabeth very happy.
You think she knows already?
She literally said, "I know who the other 4 folks are." So yes, they've told her.
Aren't you so special? I don't. Okay, so don't ruin it for me.
So listen, the
She
tag
shouldn't be
team-
commenting so much. She should be I'm a little disappointed in her.
She
She
should
should
be.
be working on social media posts.
She better be either working on
Like,
that or
where's
yeah.
her plugs for
Unbelievable.
Sprawl in the Berg too?
Unbelievable. There's been a noted lack of social media work, Jess.
Yeah.
So if Jess was the 1A social media MVP of Sprawl in the Berg, 1B was Sage Stupinski, Sage Jitsu.
And that
Daniel
they're like,
Stupinski.
are they roommates?
Yeah, I think she said they were roommates. So that totally checks out. So
Well, I would think she would know because, like, are you scheduled? Oh, okay.
So Stupinski beat Ethan Goss at Sprawl in the Berg 1. Throwback to our earlier conversation about Ethan Goss. Got to have Stupinski back. And he's got a banger matchup with Sean Kyle. I love everything about this
Nice.
matchup.
I like it.
Sean out of Flood City Jiu-Jitsu, Railroad City Jiu-Jitsu, that Altoona State College area. He and his brother Cam came in and
They killed it.
They killed it. They
with
killed
with
it.
bringing fans in too. I remember
Yep.
Cameron. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I remember Cameron saying, "It's not my thing," and then it was lights out with the 2 of those combined.
they've been awesome, dude.
Yeah.
The Kyle brothers, yeah.
So I bet you when you like put this fight together, you messaged Jim and you were like, "I'm bringing Stupinski back."
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said. So
100%.
Sean Kyle submitted Ken Burrs at Sprawl in the Berg 1 and got his brown belt right before that event. So he was initially listed as a purple belt, got his brown belt right before the show. Stupinski Congrats, dude. Just got his black belt right after Sprawlenberg. So Sean said, no problem. Like, I'll go up to black. That's fine. I want to compete against him. I watched his match with Ethan Goss. I want that one.
And he was like, I ain't scared.
I want that one. So that's a killer matchup. Sean Kyle versus Daniel Sage Stepinski. Sprawlenberg 2, October 20th. One more, ladies and gentlemen. You want one more?
Let's
You want
hear
one
this.
more?
Do it.
Brown belts. Rich Roby, who competed against Max Hansen
Oh, I
at
thought you were
Sprawlenberg
going
1.
somewhere else with brown belts.
Oh,
Yeah, but
But there's not one.
Duke
there
and
could be more that we're not going to even talk about.
Oh, so
Could you
it's not
imagine?
signed, is it?
It's half signed.
Ah, that's why.
That's why I'm not talking about it. Yeah,
And what a good one
Rich-
that's going to be.
that's a good one. That's a good one too.
Okay, I need to know.
Rich Roby.
Danny's going to have to mute, which is going to upset somebody in our listening
Yes,
audience.
let's do it.
Nobody heard that.
Nobody heard that.
That
such a
silence
dirty
segment
trick.
sponsored by Jess Elizabeth.
That is such a dirty trick to do to our fine viewers. Rich Roby's back, ladies and gentlemen. He competed against Max Hansen at Sprawlenberg 1. Max has...
Wait, I just want to say something
Okay,
first.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, we really missed the boat on the Max and Roby thing. Like, we totally should have had promos. Max and Roby. If you have kids,
Yeah,
I mean,
don't get
it's
it. I
all
truly
the
don't
time.
even know what you're getting after there.
Okay, so you just laugh like
I
'cause
just
you're
laugh
supposed
because
to.
you're acting like an idiot.
So there's a
No, there's no acting.
there's a show,
Nice.
a kids show called Max and Ruby, and
Max and Ruby. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and so-
Ruby.
Max.
How
and
did we
Roby.
miss
It's,
that?
I don't know. It's well because you don't have kids.
I didn't even know.
It would
You
have.
guys should have given me a heads up.
We should have given you kids.
Just ship off your kids.
Yes, and then you'll know about Max and Roby
Fair.
instantly.
Very fair. Max and Roby. That's just what it is now. So Roby's back. He competed against Max Hansen, who Max Hansen, ladies and gentlemen, is a savage. Not only did we know that going in to that matchup, Max has been absolutely terrorizing the grappling world since Sprawlenberg as well. Highly recommend you go follow him, go keep up with his exploits. He's winning titles all over the place. The dude is like the next Dante Leon, which makes sense, obviously.
He's ranked number 15 in the world.
Ranked number 15 in the world now.
Hello,
Okay.
people.
That was a good one. So, to be fair, credit where it's due. And this is fun for our people back home listening. I love these little Easter egg nuggets. Goes back to our Cincinnati trip, visiting with Ruben Vera at Queen City. He told us, because we were telling him about Sprawlenberg and how Dante Leon versus PJ Barch was the main event. And he's like, dude, Dante has another guy, Max Hansen, who I think is the next guy. Meanwhile, Dante had been bugging us like, hey, can you get my guy Max on the card too? And really, we didn't really have a matchup that just made sense for him at the time. But he's like, seriously, like, Max, pretty good. Like, you might want him on the card. And then Ruben said, Max Hansen might be the next guy. Like, you guys would probably be smart to get him on the card. And then we went back and looked at it. And then out of the blue, I think it was Chris Dempsey told us. Did Dempsey hook that up? Was like, Roby once on the card. He said he would even
Yeah.
face a black belt,
Yeah.
170, 180-ish. And we were like, there it is. Max Hansen versus Rich Ritt. Like, it just fell into our laps, honestly. So,
Well, a lot of them.
Yeah,
do.
true,
It's a
truly.
different world.
truly. So, Roby came in there on, like, 3 days' notice. On it, like, literally 3 days' notice. And it was a 10-minute match that he admitted that he was just not ready for. He got so tired by the end, got submitted.
with 1 second
With
left.
1 second
Yeah, that
left.
was crazy.
Yeah, it really was. Really was. And Roby is back and facing another Jess Elizabeth recommendation with Sean Foster. So this guy, the Fussy Fossy on Instagram, you've probably Seen him on our post. You guys, I mean, literally, you guys have probably seen him on our posts and everything, just tagging him. He's a savage MMA fighter, first of all, but also a savage brown belt grappler out of Ronin Training Center in Ohio. So this guy's been on our minds for a while in general. Like, we've always known that he existed, but obviously never competed for us, and Jess kept pushing it. Jess kept pushing it. Jeez. Roby wanted on the card, and I was like, there it is. It adds up. Let's bring Roby back. Let's get Sean in there. Let's see what's up. That's going to be a super fun matchup, guys. So that's the other one. Sean Kyle, Daniel Stupinski, and Rich Roby, and Sean Foster.
Nice.
Let's go.
And Foster's Australian for beer. Now, could you do us a favor, Hunter, if I'm not putting you too much on the spot? But why don't you do us a favor and rattle off some names of some people we can expect to be matched for this card that we're going to be putting.
See, I don't like that. I disagree with that.
Why?
Well, I mean, I see why you want to do it. With Sprawlenberg 1,
What is that?
Siri on my laptop activated at some
Siri?
point.
Yeah.
She's just listening. Look at this. Look at
You
this
are
creepo.
just interrupting
What are
us,
you doing,
Siri.
Siri?
Hey, Siri, you need to be quiet.
Nice. Thanks,
All
Danny
right,
Paul.
there we go.
This is as quiet as it gets.
Oh, man, that was
So,
awesome. So,
I'm
wait,
gonna
am I
correct
rattling
myself.
off names or not?
I don't know. With Sprawlenberg, a lot of the matchups, we had a matching session. Some of them just sort of fell into place and came together.
Yeah.
Made sense. We learned a lot from that, and we're definitely being more intentional with the matchups that we're putting together. And some of the names that we have are huge, and these matchups
Yeah.
are going to be incredible.
Well, I
So
just mean the
Sprawlenberg
local
won-
guys that we're looking to match for Sprawlenberg, too.
There are so many. So, like, I can certainly do it if
We
you
wouldn't
guys,
be
if we
leaving
agree that
somebody
you want
out
me to do it.
intentional, but
Right.
it's just
People, don't get mad. Don't be a baby if, like, your name is not listed, because we have a bunch of names and, like, we're running off the top of our head.
Here's what I'll give you. Here, I'll do it this way. I'll give you some 247 vets. Specifically, you have to have competed for us in the past, and I'll say your
Okay.
name. Austin Warman,
Nice.
Gavin Teasdale,
Nice.
Lucas Siebert,
Mm-hmm.
Jake Lowry,
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Hall.
Nice. I mean, they literally
They
competed
literally
against each other.
Not again. It's not a rematch.
Yeah, yeah.
Bobby Cowball, Alex Udick.
Nice.
Who else? I'm running out of steam now. There's
cheeks,
a lot
checks.
Any-
Chase Boyd. Oh, sorry, Chase. Goodness gracious, because that's a good one that we're working on.
Are there any black belts? Additional black belts that we might be?
All right. So
I don't
our
know,
strate-
because-
yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Full disclosure.
said it. He said the word.
I've been AWOL.
Max Hansen. Maybe coming
Is he
back.
AWOL?
It
No,
should have
no,
been
maybe
full
coming back.
disclosure on that front.
Tanner Hall is a black belt now. That's a great point, Jess. Yeah, true. Tanner Hall is a black belt.
No, I just had someone specific in mind that I was trying to see if we're matching him or not. That's all.
So our collective strategy for this one, Jim kind of said it a second ago, but we learned a lot with that first one. Not necessarily the best. I'm trying to think of how to frame this. We're looking outside the box for this one. So when I say that, I mean Gray Maynard versus Isaac Greeley. Like, that was kind of outside the box, and it was freaking awesome. And we're like, okay, bouts like that.
And
that
everyone
ruled.
loved
Yeah,
that.
like, that ruled. Dante and PJ, which extremely, let me be very clear here. I'm extremely
super
honored.
high level,
Like,
like
that
being
was the-
associated
yeah.
with those two is truly like we are not worthy.
It was the coolest thing ever. Dante and PJ's feedback was the coolest thing ever. Like, the most maximum appreciation for what they did. From a pure viewing standpoint, we heard from a lot of people it was not as exciting for them, because unless you're deep into the grappling game, you don't really understand what they were doing when you get to that level. So when I say a name like Max Hansen, it's possible that we're looking at somebody from outside the pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world to face him.
Does that get your mind wandering?
That's all I'll say about that.
And that's all I got to
That's
say
all
about
I even
that.
say about that.
And we have talked behind the scenes about starting a series of Grappler X versus
Specialist Y.
certain legends.
yeah, exactly.
The Legends division.
Yeah.
And Max is all in on this, by the way, just to be clear. So if you're a grappling purist out there like, oh, why would you do this? Bring jiu-jitsu back. Max himself really wants this to happen. So trust us. It's a good idea. I'm really hoping we can pull that one off. But if not, we're going to have more like that.
And there's something that Nico wants to happen too.
Nico wants something that I'm not giving up on either at all.
Yeah.
That needs to happen.
So, and that might be a conversation that we have September 9th.
Yeah.
I think this requires a mute. I think
Oh, yeah, and she did that.
yeah.
So,
Jess is asking if it's going to be a 247 Masters division. No, unfortunately. Do you want that?
I mean,
I mean,
we are
what you were
everything's
saying
on the
is
table here.
We'll do anything.
No, like this. What happens? Kind of like it'll develop as we proceed with having grappling competition. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Like we've said, we had the first one. We learned things. We're going to adjust for the second one. We're going to learn things from that one. Adjust for the third one. We're not just going to get stuck in our ways. And
there will not be 33 bouts.
also that.
already with the way this one is turning out, it's as good as Sprawlberg was. This one's going to be even better.
So
Yeah.
so here's what I'd like to see. I'm just we haven't talked about this. Just some feedback. I let these guys kind of like do their thing, and I chime in a lot and like and berate them. But so I would like to. So one of the things I think we do well, and that we weren't able to do with a 33 bout sprawl card, was like give people their shine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The post-fight interviews, the walkouts, that like we had to keep it rolling because it was already I think it ended up being like 4 hours ish, which is over that 3.5 hour threshold. We might have been longer. I don't know, but I would like a shorter show so that we can have them more often with less bouts,
Right.
but give them their shine.
Yep. And I totally agree. That's where it should go. I think that makes it way more fun. Nico was just in here in the studio talking about how he really wanted that walkout music. He wanted his walkout, wanted the big walkout. So if we work on the matchup that he has requested for Sprawl 2 and it comes through, pretty safe to say Nico will get his walkout.
That would be sweet. We're working on it.
Crazy.
So it's
Very
just,
crazy.
Yeah, conversations need to be had
Absolutely.
and continued.
So that's Sprawl in the Berg 2. Ladies and gentlemen, tickets for that are also available at 247fighting.com right now. All the fighters that we named, I believe, are available to choose as your fighter when you check out. Definitely Jess and Sasha. I'm pretty sure even though we didn't announce those other two matchups, I did put their names on our ticketing site. So fun Easter egg for the podcast listeners. Sometimes you can figure out the bouts that we have if you go buy tickets and look at the fighter drop down, because sometimes we'll throw names in there that we haven't announced yet, but they're signed. So that's fun. Put the pieces together.
But also sometimes we might put someone in there because they'll sell tickets before they're signed, but we'll get them matched.
Also
Okay.
that.
We
Also
have
that.
6 minutes left on the podcast.
For Brawl in the Berg.
Brawl in the Berg
18.
18. Yeah, I gotta. It's hard to keep track. I was saying 18, but I was like, oh,
yeah.
is that right? Brawl in the Berg 18 takes place on October 21st at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. It's going to be a great show. We are matching a bunch of complete studs, and we have started that process. We have a verbal big fight today that I know about. Is there more?
No.
No. There's a big fight that got verbal today. Not is
I'm
that
just excited about that.
is that that's not signed yet, right?
Not signed yet.
One side, right?
Very strongly verbal. I'll say that.
So that's happening.
It's gonna happen.
Generally speaking, it's happening.
Yeah. In a sort of roundabout way.
Yeah.
In general.
Ryan sees what I did.
In
there.
general.
Yeah.
In general, yeah.
Sort of.
So anyway, let's talk about the one fight we are going to announce, and that is for Brawl in the Berg 18, Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. Who do we got signed?
Rematch. I love it.
We're bringing it back.
I feel like we absolutely accidentally revealed this on a podcast maybe before. Like
That's unprofessional.
Was it Dylan Cole? It was Dylan Cole.
Mm-hmm.
He said something.
He knew? How would he have known?
All right, we'll back it up.
He unintentionally.
He unintentionally said it.
But how did he know?
He
He
didn't.
didn't.
See, so he didn't
He
reveal.
did, yeah,
you guys
yeah.
just didn't know how to react.
Yeah, true. We didn't play it off very well. Pretty poor poker faces over here. However, if you guys were at Brawl in the Berg 17, the day after Sprawl in the Berg 1, back at the Monroeville Convention Center, you may remember a fight of the night between Glenn Christner and Caprice Hall that went to a draw. And these dudes put it all on the line, man. Like, seriously, I thought the fight was great in real time. When I watched it back, it was actually better than I remembered. Like, they're a great matchup for each other. Glenn out of Amviares, that dude's amazing, hilarious, everything about him I love. Won the Strip District Meat Bucks along with Lucas Siebert. And then Caprice Hall out of TKO Erie, another savage striker. I was super impressed with,
He has no
his stand-up.
poker face. He,
Oh,
what you
dude.
see is what you
All
get. He's coming
business.
right at
I would not.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight that guy. Glenn Christner wants to fight that guy again, in fact, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So their first fight of the night, ended in a draw. They both felt like unsatisfied with a draw. They need a winner and a loser, and that's what we're going to get at Brawl in the Berg 18 with that matchup at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. So that's that. That one is fully signed, sealed, and delivered.
That's awesome.
Oh.
If you like to see bangers, if you have a subscription to 247 Live, check out that fight. You'll see like it was awesome and it deserved the rematch.
Yeah, it really was a fantastic fight. I mean, let's be totally honest. If a fight, we're not rematching it just because it was a draw and, we need resolution here. It's not that. I mean, that helps,
It's
of course.
a heck of a fight, and it needs resolution.
Yeah, we love that matchup. Like, that was such a fun matchup that it needed run back, period. So, yeah, that's happening. In general, we can't talk about too many other Brawl in the Berg 18 matchups, but, I mean, not patting ourselves on the back, but it's going to be a good card.
Yeah, I mean,
That was so.
I mean that
close.
was just in time for the
Yeah.
for the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
If any of us can make a pun with the other
Right.
guy's name,
Yeah.
if you pull that one off, you get a gold star.
Yeah, I would have to look it up. I don't remember.
But yeah, that's
You can't even pronounce his first name, let alone his last name.
What are you talking about? We were just wrapping up the podcast.
he just reached in a hat and drew out the next opponent.
Yes, he did. I like that.
This is fantastic. Nobody else gets it except for like Jim and Danny. It's beautiful.
Sturdy. with that
So
one.
we got, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's run it back. 513 Fight Night, September 9th, the Sharonville Convention Center, right outside Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati has not had a card in 9 years. Let's make that very clear. 9-year MMA drought in Cincinnati, and we're bringing it back. We have a completely stacked card for that. Insane pro fights, banger amateur fights. Tickets are available now at 247fighting.com. Get those Let's bring back the MMA scene in Cincinnati. Let's build this thing and do something special. This is where it begins.
September 9th is going to be the greatest night in nearly a decade for MMA in Cincinnati. You got to be there in person to feel the atmosphere, to feel the environment. Get your tickets at 247fighting.com. Make sure you put your favorite fighter's name in the drop down. Select your who you're supporting, or if you are just want to come and check it out, you're gonna have a great night. Now, sometimes I hear people say your ticket prices are really high, right? That can be said. You know who doesn't say that?
Anybody who's ever been to the show.
People that come to our shows. They don't say that. You never hear someone say like, yeah, it wasn't worth. Like, we put on a show. We have the lights. It's a spectacle. And it's going to be a spectacle at the Sharonville Convention Center on September 9th. 513 Fight Night. You can't miss it. Get your tickets right now at 247fighting.com.
Boom. Let's go.
See, that was like, for those of you
Promo.
watching.
That's a promo.
That is literally like we're pulling that from. So we like, yeah. Your turn, Jim. Go ahead, do it.
See ya.
See,
I'll see you when I see you.
please
That's
be
my
there.
favorite promo. I do want to wrap up the other things. If you guys were late arriving, we did announce right in the very beginning the 247 Live app, which is available on iOS, Apple TV, and Roku, will very soon, like very, very soon, be available for Android and Amazon Fire TV as well. So basically any device you have is going to be able to get the 247 Live app. That is super exciting for our live pay-per-views, all of our live streams. This podcast is on there. Highlights are on there. Fight replays are on there. Other promotions possibly in the very near future coming there as well. So that's fun. All on the 247 Live app. We announced that at the very top. We also just announced Rich Roby versus Sean Foster and Sean Kyle versus Daniel Stupinski for Sprawl in the Berg 2. Two extremely high-level black-brown level belt matchups there. Insane. And a rematch between Glenn Christner and Caprice Hall for Brawl in the Berg 18 on October 21st. So those were the big updates for this podcast. A lot of fight announcements. A lot of business happening here in 247 land.
Did you talk about 247 Live too? Did you recap that?
I did
Okay,
just
good.
I did just do that.
Because I was reading some
Oh, good.
Jess Elizabeth going
I
on.
thought you were reading TJ Timbo Moore, the dude, the man, TJ Timbo Moore. Been here for years, always supporting us. I love this guy. He's the man. And he's ripping on your bald heads.
Wait,
And I love
where?
it.
I don't see that.
The glare coming off the dome is real on that side of the table.
Well, that's only Jim because I mean maybe my forehead, but like
You got a 5 head. Really.
There is a little
well, I mean-
glare on the camera. I can see it. The forehead glare definitely. Ryan, listen, let's give credit where it's due. Ryan has a nice head of hair. For an old gentleman such as himself,
bro.
it's hanging on nice,
Dude.
Like better than mine. I'm jealous. That's
He
all
got
this
rid of
comes
the
down
tips
to.
though.
You did get rid of the frosted tips.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy.
Anyway, you guys were awesome in the comments, keeping this thing rolling. Seriously, the engagement means a whole lot to us. I'm glad you guys are just as excited as we are about these upcoming shows. We have a very busy schedule to close out the year. We have Cincinnati's Sharonville Convention Center, September 9th. Sprawl in the Berg 2, October 20th. Brawl in the Berg 18, October 21st. Sprawl in the Berg 3, December 15th. And Brawl in the Berg 19, December 16th. So we are rolling right now, and all the tickets are available at 247fighting.com. All the live stream pay-per-views are available at stream247live.com. Come watch our shows. We're putting on good fights. Jim Mooney's booking good fights. Come see what all the hype's about. Let's do this thing.
Let's do this thing. Can we do some Chipmunk to end the show?
I'm out. He's out, but I'm in, baby. Yeah! It's time to party. We're the Chipmunks. Hunter, Jimothy, and Ride Dog. Do, do, Do 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 do. All right, people. See ya.